how were we gonna make a version of Hercules that was gonna stand out from the rest. And what we wanted to do was base our movie off a very well-written graphic novel that was cool, it was dark, and it had an interesting story in terms of taking the mythology and deconstructing and flipping the myth. And what I mean by that is, what if Hercules wasn't a god? What if he was a man? What if he was a man first, who had a family, but yet he had a heart of gold, and he had a steel resolve like no one else. So there's certain parts of the mythology that we take and we deconstruct it, we change it to make it different, and hopefully to make it definitive. And in terms of what I was able to bring to the role, I think the number one thing that I wanted to make sure that we got across in the role that I was able to bring to the role of Hercules, and that hopefully we were going to be able to do this together in terms of bringing to the overall story, was the power of believing in yourself, and how important that is, because you have a mythology that's been around forever. Greek mythology, you have the story of Hercules that's been around forever. But the most important thing about this is the power of believing in yourself, and how powerful that can be, and being comfortable with who you are.
And I have to say, what Dwayne brought to it, really, in my opinion, is an incredible amount of gravitas and levity. And why he's able to bring this is because he's one of the rare actors, and why he's such a big movie star is because he's fearless when it comes to showing vulnerability. For me, the actors who are not afraid to show vulnerability, especially a character like Hercules, right? The strongest man in the world, but he was fine with letting his hair down and showing the vulnerability and showing emotion, and on top of that, bringing humor. That's what's different between this movie and every other Hercules movie. Every other Hercules movie and every other movie that's in the genre is serious, is dramatic. We have the seriousness, we have the drama, but we also have the humor and the fun. And that's what makes this movie different than any other movie that's made in the genre.
We have the fun. The fun.
Queremos pedirles por favor que eviten tomar fotografías porque se mete el audio a los compañeros que están grabando el audio de la conferencia. Seguimos por favor con José.
Yeah, no, I think that's what attracted us to the story. It showed the humanity. Every other movie was driven by the visual effects, driven by the spectacle, driven by the fact that the mythology and the fact that he's fighting monsters and that he's half man, half god. This grounded the story. This allowed us to make something that was grounded, that was real, and then it informed us, and we were able to build the incredible, you guys see the trailers and stuff? The biggest sets you've ever seen built. Even that when we walked on the first day, we were like, oh my God. Because, most of these movies are made in a room like this, all green screen. And everything is added in afterwards. Because of the story that we focused on, which is demystifying the myth, grounding the man, we were able to create these sets and these environments that were practical, where not only Dwayne, but all the ensemble, all the actors could walk on set and they felt like they were transported to 358 BC. We took them there because of the design. And I think both of us were attracted to the story because of that fact.
Right, and I think when you, as actors, when you come onto a set, that's very practical. And some of our sets were literally the size of a soccer stadium. Massive, massive, massive set. So automatically, as Brett was saying, it informs you as an actor in terms of the meat of the story, and it's very, very grounded. And I want to say that, like Brett was saying, when you have a story that's been around for some time, and there's been other movies made on Hercules. Hercules just came out in January, by the way, where it was about the monsters and the mythology. There was something very intriguing and interesting about, again, well, what if is Hercules the son of Zeus? Possibly. Possibly. Is he a man? Absolutely. Who lives, breathes, and bleeds, and cuts, and is in pain too as well, loses his family. So there are a lot of different elements that made it very, very intriguing.
And the thing that he said earlier, which I love, is that Dwayne brought humanity to it because he brought he helped with the messaging of finding the hero in yourself, finding the belief in yourself. Everybody, that relates to everybody. Everybody wants to find the greatness in yourself and find that belief in order to succeed. And he epitomizes that character, where you're rooting for him and you want him to win. And that's the movie that we were trying to do.
Bien, ahora